Priscilla, and you are at the 1870s studio. We live in an old church, and I'm making a window here for I'm doing 52 windows this year, 2023. This one is window number 3, and it is going to go up over there in the top part of that window. Now, this is a cherry blossom window. It's spring. And right now what I'm gonna do is just tack tack solder. There are pieces on here that are fused. I'm gonna tack solder this in place. So I've just copper foiled a lot. I'm gonna show you that technique too, but right now, what I'm gonna do is just clear off my workspace, get my tape out of the way, get some solder here, and put on my gloves. Always wear my gloves. And get my flux at hand. I have my stained glass soldering iron. Here, 100-watt Seiko, not Seiko. And I'm gonna start by just touching kind of some of the outer bits of this and putting them together. So I'm going to take some flux, put it here, just lightly, and then touch my solder, touch it to it, solder to it. So I don't want these pieces to move. I'll go around and get them all in a minute. Just want to get this tacked together here. I don't use a pattern when I do stained glass. Some people do, some people don't. Totally your call. But there's certain things that you have to do. You have to use flux when you solder. Have to. And we hear chainsaw going. My husband's outside cutting wood right now. We have shortbread. Shortbread resting in the kitchen. He's baking shortbread today, which is awesome. So I'm gonna just keep, this part is super fidgety. You see I just pumped it there. Put it back in place. Oh. Well, I got stuff on it anyway. There are lots of cherry blossoms going on here. I don't want it to be not moving around on me. So I'm just touching this into my solder and dropping it off. Touch, drop. So we don't want this to scoot around. I can pick this up to hold it too. Oh, I just moved it. Move it back. Sometimes when I'm making a big window, I will use horseshoe nails and nail things in place. If I'm going to be using a lead channel, but this is a Tiffany foil technique, so I'm not going to do that this time. And lots of cherry blossoms. I just want to hold these together so I don't bump things. And I can tell where the flux is and where the flux isn't. Where the flux isn't, it does not want to stick. I'm going to take my flux. Get that on there. And if you've never tried stained glass before, I highly recommend it. It's so fun. So fun. Very satisfying. I do lots of different arts and crafts here, but this is one that I'm pretty sure will be here for hundreds of years after I'm not here. And I like that. And it gives lots of people joy. When people come here and they look at the windows that I've made, I love hearing which one's their favorite. They'll ask questions about how I did this or that. That's all stuck now. Alright, that's all stuck now. So I think that's what I really love about stained glass. It's here for the ages. Lift you up here so you can see this one. Sorry for the creaky noise. Sorry for the chainsaw noise. This is a big old, it's a 10,000 square foot old church we live in and work in. And you need a lot of firewood to heat it. My husband is cutting firewood right now. So once I get these all sat into place, I'll lift this up and show you. And I am showing, this is during a live on YouTube. I'm showing you in real time. I'm not speeding anything up, slowing anything down. This will take, this window, I don't really keep track of my hours that I spend on a window. This is probably about a 40-hour window, maybe more. So my solder, this is what I'm using, Artist Pure 6040, which means 60% tin, 40% lead. So handle this with care. And I like to unwrap this. You can also get this in sticks. I like it in sticks as well. Actually, I think I like it in sticks better. Get it right out of there. And this stuff is super soft and easy to use. But you just need a flux. Have to flux. It will not, nothing will stay if we don't flux. So, flux, flux, flux. Flux, flux. Oops, I bumped it. Bump it back. That's the importance of kind of getting it stuck in place. And I want this branch to look like it's going behind this branch. It will. You'll see. It will. You don't want to rest your soldering iron on your glass. It will crack your glass. It'll get thermal shock. It'll also take your copper foil off. The adhesive will come off. I'm just going to tap and touch those bits. Oops. When that happens, if a bit falls on the glass, like right there, leave it. Don't try to pick it up with this. You'll crack your glass. Boom. Didn't put any flux there. If you don't put flux down, it does not stick good. Definitely don't have any flux there. And the cherry blossoms are the star of this window. They really are. And you don't see it till you hold it up. Once I get all this stuff tacked together, I'm going to hold this window up for you, so you can have a look how it's going. And this side is a glass panel that I fused. So my cherry blossoms are going to look really different. I want that. I want everybody to be able to see there's a difference between the two. So I'm going to just nip that off because I need a good bit of solder there. So I just pulled that off. Do the same here on this one. Sometimes, like, I like to use my solder. This stuff's all going to get black patinaed, and I like to use it like a shadow. So I'm going to put a bunch there. It'll make a dark shadow in the window. That will be gorgeous. Okay, I think that's everything tapped together. Oh, this big joint here. And look, this piece here, it just slides off now. So and you can just grab a hold of it with your soldering iron. Don't touch your soldering iron on the glass. You will be sad. You might get away with it a couple times, but it'll crack. Once you've cracked a piece of glass, you never want to do that again. And this is a bigger piece here, so I'm going to just cut this off because that whole bit's going in there. And you see there's smoke coming off. You want to use this with an exhaust fan. There are special fans for that, or in a very well ventilated place, which we have. We have really high ceilings here, and it's one big open room. And you hear that noise that it's making right now? This is when it can get really scary, and your glass can crack. You hear that noise? That noise can be scary. So between this and this, I have some gaps. I'm totally not bothered about the gaps. I actually like them because it's going to put a dark shadow line on this side of our tree. It's going to look super cool. And it's not going to look as much like a straight edge, because I don't want it to be a straight edge. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to actually see if I can't get you a little better there so you can see it. What I'm up to. We have some more flowers to cut out for this window. I'm not going to stay live for real long. I just like to show you things in real time. A lot of times when I'm watching YouTube, I wish that they would slow down and show me what I want to see. So like this big gap, looky, I'll take a little bit. I don't do it too far and too much in advance, but I'll just put some there, right? Stay away from that bit then. Let it cool down. Here it sizzle, sizzle. So I'll come up here, maybe work on this bit right here. Give your glass a chance to cool down. You don't want to you don't want to do the thermal shock. It's not fun. Okay, so then here, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to take this, just going to cut this little bit in, and then I'm just going to go along and touch. And then just pull back along and smooths it all out. Here it's sizzling. Just sort of let it do its thing. Go to another point where we still have over here a nice cool spot. So I'll take and solder this bit. And I'm not doing decorative soldering on these. These are going to be up in the air, about 15 feet high. Don't think anybody's going to see them that close. So I'm not going to do any kind of a decorative solder on here. Just a nice, some of them might be a little round, some not. But I'm just going to bounce back and forwards from solder here a little bit, and then come back to this spot and work down this line. And again, you might do this so different. Everybody has their own little way. While it sizzles and crackles, I stay away from it. Let's come down here. Just keep moving around on our glass. I'm going to come down here, this bit here, because I have the flux that was still on there. I'm just going to this bit, back up there. I can move fast, move smooth, and move on. Let it cool. Let's come over here to this big cherry blossom. That big cherry blossom right there. I'm going to put more flux on here. And now it's all stuck in place, so I don't have to worry about bumping things off. But I only want to connect these inner parts because I still have to put my pieces out here. So I'm only worrying about soldering my inner parts right now. And this, I'm going to put on either side of there. I'm going to put clear glass. I'll show you the glass I'm going to use in a minute. It's so pretty. It's still on there. Nice, smooth, and get away from it. Smooth and get away from it. Don't go back and forwards. Don't keep trying to rub it until it's all perfect. We're gonna put patina on this, black patina, and black patina will erase any of our mistakes. And this is going to be absolutely stunning. This window. I can just tell. A little bit more to do. Let me go back to our other piece. That piece is pretty thick. If it's pretty thick, I just tip a little piece off because it's going to need it. It's going to take the solder. And this is something, the more you do, the better you'll get at this. It's wonderful. It's like everything in life. But with stained glass, you just get such cool things. Okay, you saw that pop out. There's little balls that popped out. Don't touch them. They're gonna be hot. Let them cool, and then we can brush them off. They'll just brush off. Don't touch them with your iron. Okay, let's come back down here. We have just this one little bit to go. Let's flux it. Fluxy, flux, flux, flux. And we're gonna take this. This might just be, look at that, would ya? That's the very length we need. So I'm going to take this and straighten this little piece. Lay it right there. Well, maybe a little bit more. And then start touching. I move quick, move quick. Move along fast. Well, we couldn't have planned that any better. Great. Wonderful. Now I'm going to come in here. And clean up the places that I still need solder. I'm going to clean them up. I'm not quite together enough yet to lift it up for you. I need to put some more fill-ins because this side over here is really heavy. This is going to be, I want to make an arch here of my, what's the word? Cherry blossoms. That's it. And the cherry blossoms distinctly look different on purpose. I cut the petals differently. I cut these rounded. They're kind of pointed on the edge. The iridescent glass that I used on the ends, it's being replaced. The middle part is going to get this, it's going to get this watercolor or water glass for the background in there. And then my the petals that I'm using this, it's Yakagini art glass, and it just has so many different variations on it, and that's what I'm cutting these petals out of. So the middle is going to look really different than the edge on purpose, and they're going to all just blend together to be absolutely gorgeous. I can just tell. Sometimes I can just tell with a window. But I want to show you now how I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut some pieces here because I have this one big cherry blossom here. Let me show you. I have one big cherry blossom here. I want to make another cherry blossom here that's a little bit smaller, so you'll see they're distinctly different. So I like to look at the glass, and you cut the glass. The glass has a rough side and it has a smooth side. I'm going to take my gloves off for this. I take my gloves off typically just for, I usually take my gloves off just for copper foiling, and I keep my gloves on to cut, but I'm going to take them off right now because I need to draw with a Sharpie. So I have this little petal here. So I'm going to look on here for petal colors that are the way that I want them. Like that petal color, that guy, that one's awesome. And then I'll take this petal and make this petal like this. 1, 2, 3. So I need 2 more petals. Let's look and see. Look and see where we want them. 1, 2. I don't want any of these hard lines in them. Maybe here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that one's pretty. See how I'm making the line go the way nature would make it go? 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. Maybe over here. Oh yeah. And they are all going to be different. It might be a little bit too big. So I'll show you how I cut these now. And I don't have much space to cut on, because my window is taking up the wooden spot. I'll cut up here and show you. You can use any kind of a cutter, any kind of a glass cutter. Which a glass cutter is really, it's for scoring glass. So what I'm going to do is take this. This isn't how you should do it. This is where we are, though. You should always have it flat. That was so wrong. And then just tap it below. It was a terrible score. And I knew that was going to happen. I broke half my die. I wasn't able to push down on there, but now I'm going to sweep away these little glass shards. Always, always, always get rid of your shards. I normally don't cut while I'm working, but just for this, because I'm doing this video, this is how we're going to do this. So here where this had happened, I might be able, with my running pliers, might be able to still use that score line, maybe not. It was a really bad score. Yay, it broke. Okay, so now these petals, look, I have a flat surface to lay on. That's what you want. You want a flat surface. So here I'm going to come up and I'm just going to go score 1, tap it off. Let's separate these. Score 2, tap it off. Score 3. gonna save all these little bits and pieces. I'm gonna save them to use in like future projects, mosaics, that sort of thing. And you can hold this different ways. I have deformed my hands from using this. See that hump that I have there? And I have osteoarthritis, so I go like this. I go like, this is my technique for holding it. But you can, like, I still sometimes fall back into this position, but it really hurts my hand. And they do have other kinds of cutters, like this that you can use, which this is friendlier for your hand. I'll use this one to show you the rest. And then this little bit back here, that's to put underneath. Tap, break, tap, break, repeat, tap, break, repeat. And if this was a piece of jewelry or something that, I went around a curve here. Curves are kind of weird. I might take this to my grinder, but I'm not doing that. This is gonna fit just fine. I'm not bothered that it's gonna be a little bit squarish looking, because when I put my tape on here, it's actually gonna be a good thing, because look, like, we didn't cut that piece to go there, but that piece just goes there. It's magic. and I don't use a pattern. I don't like to use patterns. If you do, you do. That's awesome. I kind of like the glass, to be able to look at it and, you know, see what I like, where I like it at. Putting copper foiling on here. And there's all sorts of illusions that you can do too. Like if I wanted to make that look rounder, I could cut a piece of foil around there and put it on to make it look rounder. But I'm not bothered. This is gonna look beautiful. It's gonna look beautiful. So copper foil on, and burnish it, rub it. And sometimes, like, I like to burnish things up here, put them up on this little lip. And look, see how nice and smooth it makes it? That's what you want. So when it takes the solder goes on nice and smooth. Just want that rubbed on. And then look at that. We did not plan that, but our little, wait, is it like that? Yeah, let's put it like that. It's just gonna stick together so cool. That's gonna make a gorgeous little one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. And repeat. This piece is gonna be beautiful. You can only score one way one time. Just once. And then see that little nibby that's stuck off there? I'm gonna take, because that little nibby bump is bugging me. I'm gonna just nip that. That's gone. Now it won't bug us. Sometimes when I'm cutting and doing this, when I break my piece, it'll actually flip right in here. And when it flips right in there, I'm like, yes, basket, 2 points. So, just kind of going around the edge. Hold on to this, and you tap underneath where you cracked. 2 points. And let's go with a big one here. And sometimes you can snap it and break it like that too. I always say do that with gloves on though. And sometimes I'll take these little hard ones. The little ones can be tough to get off. Sometimes they can be a big pain in the neck to get off. For whatever reason, there's not enough purchase on them. So I'll like nip with that. I'm happy with this. I'll set this out of the way, grab our copper foil again. Take our copper foil. This is 1/4 inch. Never ever touch the sticky side. Get that on there, half and half. Fold it over, push, push, push. And this piece is a little bit, it's really weird. This piece is a little bit thicker. This is art glass and it has character to it. So this piece is just a little tad bit thicker, which again will look cool in the window. This will not look like a cookie cutter. Take this. Did you have to sharpen your saw, honey?
Ja, jag byter alla sharpkina och see what that's.
And my husband's back out to the wood cutting. Let's take this over here. This little edge that's on here is really important because you can bump your glass right up against it. So I know I'm keeping the bottom of my window straight. And it's also great, it gives me another work surface to sit and burnish glass on. And there are glass burnishing tools. I use a dowel rod. I want to show you my real tool that I first got in Scotland 21 years ago, maybe 22 years ago now. It's worn down to almost like a little nub, but this fits in my hand great. I love how it feels. And I do a lot of copper foiling. And you see, I'm not bothered about these little angles because we need to get our little cherry blossom just right. Not worried about those. Okay, so this one broke weird. I can still use it. I'm just not going to use it for that. I'm going to use it for this one. And the Sharpie will come right off. This one's going to be kind of darker pinks. Oh, I like that. That's pretty. This little flower here is kind of different shades of pink than this one. So they'll really, even though the one size is a little bit bigger, one size a little bit littler, it'll really be pretty. So let's go back to the cutting. Art glass bumps like that. Don't be afraid. Art glass is bumpy. But it's so cool and worth it. Look at how pretty. That's just so beautiful. It's gorgeous. I'm gonna take. That will never, ever, 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 ever cut like that in a million years. So I need to take and push a little breakup line there. Now it might. That part broke. And then I'll take my little running pliers, squeeze. I line up this line on top with that, perfect. And this one, there's a screw in these running pliers. You want to always keep your screw up in the air and then line the middle of it up with the line that you just made to use running pliers. And it's called a running plier because it just runs along the score you just made. This one again, the little bits, for whatever reason, they're kind of annoyingly tough to get off. So you squeeze it with this, and that'll take it off. And this, I'm happy with that, but I'm just gonna nip that one little point right here. Nip it. Just to smooth it, and I got one here too. I have 5 grinders back in the studio. I'm not grinding these windows because I have 53 big windows to make this year, and you can spend a lot of time with a grinder. I'm not gonna do that. Not on this project anyway, not on this one. Copper foil goes half and half on each side. I have a foiler too that you just slide this piece around. It foils it for you. A lot of people love them. When I do workshops, I encourage everybody to try them. And if you like them, use them. I prefer to do it by hand. There's something about holding the glass. I can judge where I want that to go. I just love doing it by hand. It's like a therapeutic thing for me. So you take your copper foil, you rub it down. I like to rub the sides first, or around the edge of the piece. Rub that first. And we'll lay it here on our little side table. And see that piece sticking up? I'll tuck that down with my fingernail, because when I overlapped my copper foil, it didn't quite stick. So now there's not a sharp straight line edge sticking up. I hit it. Our Sharpie will come off because we have so much scrubbing to do. Okay, we need 5 petals. So these ones are kind of big and chunky. I think I might make this next petal thinner. I do like that one there. I like that one there. Let's back that up just a bit. Just a bit. And the next one, remember I said it won't quite work? Well, now it will. So this one, let me just lay it under here. Let's lay it underneath here. That one there. That one there. It's gonna back out this way a bit. I'm gonna chop this part off of it so I can tuck it in better. We're getting kind of close to what it should be right now. Let's make that just a little bit, just like this. Although I'm not happy with it. I'm not going to use that piece because that looks like it's coming out on the side. And I have a lot of this glass, so I can do this. I can do this. That's what we want to do. Don't be afraid to try different things. And now look, when I put this under here, like, it's gonna look so perfect. It really is. And I tear this off as I go along, my excess. And I typically do work tidy, keep things out of my way. Sometimes it gets a little crazy. That's so much better with that pink coming out. Oh, it's gorgeous. This is rough right here. I can see it. So this is gonna be a rough score. And this one here, you only want to go one way. You only want to do it one time, but it's too little now. Remember, it's too little, so we gotta pinch it. That'll come off, but look, that little nub stayed on. So we're gonna take our little nippers. We're gonna nip the nub off. And over here I have a little bit of nub on. Nip it. Nip it. Whee! I'm knocking everything around here. Okay, that here. That there. There. Let's get our copper foil on this fella. And again, get your foil out. Don't touch the inside, never, ever, ever. Expose it, center it. Don't lift it up and down. Mine kind of got cut there. And don't, if you lift it up and down, you're gonna lose your adhesive really fast. And copper foil is expensive. You don't want to be wasting it. Pretty much all the stuff with stained glass is expensive. And I overlap. See how I overlap my copper foil? I overlap it. But then right here, I got one of those little weird things again. I overlapped it wrong, so I just push it with my fingernail. And let's burnish it. That's great. Rub it really hard. I do this a lot of times while watching TV. If I have something that I'm working on, like I make a lot of stained glass mermaids that I use Scottish sea glass in, and so I'll have tails and arms and bodies and shells and all sorts of things that while we're watching television, I will copper foil and burnish. I love doing it. It's so fun. This is a job actually that my husband Morton likes to do too. He definitely will burnish copper for me. Now let's see how it looks. Oh, it looks fabulous. It looks fabulous. So while that little flower is there, I'm gonna take, let's see, do I want to put a little center in it? I don't think I do. I have some little bits of red, like I put a little bit of red in here, but I don't want it to look like a hibiscus. I want them to be cherry blossoms. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put my gloves back on. Wear your gloves when you're soldering and get your stuff out of the way. Move your copper foil out of the way. I have seen people already try to solder while it's all piled full of stuff. Don't do that to yourself. Move that stuff out of the way. I'm going to move this camera back so you can see good what we're up to. Yeah. Put your gloves on. I like to take solder. Solder comes in sticks and it also comes in like 2-pound blocks, or 1-pound rolls rather. 2-pound blocks. It's quite like cheese. Now, it comes in rolls. Comes in a roll. Let me kick it up here so you can see. Oh, that's a good one. So I'm going to roll. And this is Artist Pure 60/40. And I take off usually about, I don't know, 18 inches maybe. This tip just gets wiped on a wet sponge, special wet sponge, cut through. So I got my little stick here. But now we need to put our flux down. I want to be careful to not move these too much. If they move a little bit, that's okay. I can put them back in place. I'm gonna have them just right. Now we're gonna seal the deal here. We're gonna drop some solder down in. I'm just gonna tack solder this. Get a bigger piece there because I need a bigger chunk there. But once it's in its place, it's been joined together. Now I can go in here and flux the flux out of it. I can just flux it out. So much flux. All the flux. And flux helps well, it doesn't help. You couldn't solder without it. Clean my tip. And now in here, I'm gonna just put a big hunk of this because I know I'm gonna use that much. There's a big old hunk in there. See it bubbling? That transfers the heat to the glass so easy. So you want to work quick and mindful of your glass. Mindful. You don't want to crack your glass. I'm shaking it. I'm sorry. Resting my hand on the. Now I might in here. I might put some little weirdo drops of solder. Look. Boom. Just to kind of create like a cool little center. Nobody's going to see that though, because these are going to be high in the air. When I do some projects that I do some other glass that's down where people will see it, I'll show you some decorative soldering techniques. Okay. I'm loving it. Loving it. All right, now I'm gonna come to the point where I have to decide, like, okay, enough. But that's not quite to that point yet. I have this color of glass. This glass is really different than this glass. I'm gonna use some of this because it's more of a pinky. I'm gonna make another cherry blossom out of this if we can get enough. If we can get enough petals. We need 5 petals. I don't want to make them too big. Maybe we'll make that one fit up there. That one might fit up in there. That's a good idea. Up in there. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to follow the lines. Now we're going to go with petals this size. 1, 2, 3. 4. My fifth one could be here. Now, this is a really important thing to show you because you see how that line goes on here? That's what I want to use to make my petals. So we'll come back down in here. Darn it. Oh, there, it does fit. It does fit flat. You want to have your glass laying flat when you cut it. Alexa, stop. Sorry if I just stopped your alarm. It's time to make shortbread. Okay, so here I'm gonna cut this just straight down here first. 4. Because I want to have my littler pieces. So I love cutting glass. I love it. The more you do, the better you get at it. I'm just cutting these 4 apart because I want to set them up there and make sure I got my size about right. These little pieces, I might use them. I love the color in them. It's different than these, so it'll stand out in the window. I might use them as little bits and bobs up there to fill my glass in. It broke. And then here, well, I can score this. Sometimes I'll score and then nibble. But just make sure you capture all your pieces. I do mosaics with my glass too, so it's not gonna waste. Okay, so let's go up in this corner and see how we're gonna look here with our little five little petals. And get them close to shape. One, two. That size is gonna be perfect. That size is gonna be perfect. And these ones, I'm thinking about kind of leaving them a bit, not rounded totally. Nope. Too tiny. I have to keep this up, squeeze. There we go. Oh my goodness, just a little bit too tiny. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We got a fifth petal hiding out somewhere. Where are you? Where'd that fifth one go? Oh, it's over on here, but I'm not going to cut it over there. I'm just going to use one of these pieces. This piece right here, actually. I'm going to make that a little bit rounder. Down at the top. We'll nibble a little bit. This will be a really pretty organic petal up here. That'll be gorgeous. So then I think I'm going to take it up here, put it up here in this corner. So we have another full blossom up there. Sorry for my shadow. That little straight bit, I'm going to nibble that off too. I'll nibble that fella off as well. I love it. Okay, so now I have these little bitty bits, but I'm going to keep these ones separate because that's that different shade of pink, slightly different. But I'm going to use this to fill in dots up around in here, to fill in some little blanks. I'll put that up together. Okay, so I'm done with my glass cutter for a minute, and I will grab a hold of this. Actually, that alarm went off, so I really should jump off and I should jump off and go for the shortbread. Shortbread's back there in the kitchen. And I have 52 windows I'm making for our place this year. So I hope if you have not subscribed, if you're still here, thank you for being here. And I hope you subscribe. I hope you keep checking in on us and all the windows. And do something beautiful for yourself today. Have a gorgeous day. I will keep posting videos as this progresses, and then finally when it's installed in that window. Bye bye for now.